Welcome to a new episode of Remote Art Talks. On today's episode, we talk to Véronique Buist, a mixed media artist with a growing interest for color, perception, and landscape. Since 2015, she has developed technical skills working with embroidery and more recently, paper making, enhancing the poetic aspect of the process and intuition that guides creation. Hi, Véronique, and thank you for joining us.
Nice to be here today with you. I'm really happy about this little interview talking about my work. So just like you said, I'm a Montreal-based artist. I am mostly working with textile, especially embroidery on paper. I actually started embroidery in 2012. I was just like exploring on various paper and mostly photos at that time. And I started to do it on paper that I was buying in a store, art store. And I was having this idea to have the paper to match the color of my thread with my paper. And of course, I wasn't able to do it. So I actually ended up finding a super paper making studio in Montreal. It's called Atelier Retail. And actually, I joined Sophie, who's the founder of the project. And we together made a first sheet of paper made entirely of my embroidery thread. Since it's only cotton thread, just like this one here, we actually were able to make a single sheet of paper, and I started to embroider on the handmade paper. And since then, I haven't really bought any paper. I'm just making my own paper, and I do some embroidery on it after.
Cool. So I saw you here earlier this year at Artist Project, and you were telling me about this very cool collaboration that resulted in some coverage for an editorial for a fashion magazine. So there was an overlap somewhere over there, like with the fashion world. Can you tell us more about it?
Absolutely. Actually, I was contacted with a Montreal-based designer, a clothing line called it's Noemia. So she made a special first collaboration with another artist to make the patterns that she printed on the fabric. And after that, she made a collection of clothing. And then after, I recycled all the fiber left over and I turned them into paper. So it's really an intertwining between the three collaborators. So there were the first artist that I used actually the fabric from, and also the clothing line, which I reused the leftover from it. So it's actually ended up in a really nice collaboration of three women, and I was able to make around 11 artwork from it. It's a really, really special paper. It's made from the thread, from the fabric, and it's like a special purple that it's really hard to photograph because of the color, which is so special. And because the Noemi, which is the creator, she actually ended up putting a lot of gold leaf into her collection. So I put some gold leaf into the paper too. So it was really to make it special for this collaboration.
Okay. So you were telling me that you are, particularly interested in these mediums right now, but you also have other interests. So what are those interests?
I actually love to write a lot, like in general. I love to have some dinner with friends. It's really super typical, but having people around me is the main inspiration for me. I do a lot of, I listen a lot, and then it simmers in my head, and then it turns out to be a lot of inspiration. I love to look at, I do a lot of photo too for myself. I used to do it more professionally before, but I started to do it more for myself. I'm also a florist, so nature has a lot of impact on myself and my work too. So I do a lot of. I love to walk. I have like amazing gardens, public gardens in Montreal here to just walk through, and it's really nice to be around. I have a lot of friends who are florists too, so we hang out together and we do some crafting and stuff like this. So it's really nice to be surrounded. I'm in a big city, but still it's easy to have access to nature. So it's really cool to be surrounded by this.
So how are you keeping inspired these days?
I'm actually working on a really, like the biggest embroidery on paper since I started being an artist. So I can move a bit my
Yeah.
camera so you can see it. It was supposed to go, I don't know if you can see it
Yeah,
better.
yeah,
So it was supposed to be in a collective exhibition in Dallas, which is now canceled, or well, we don't know yet.
Wow.
So I try to do it, even I don't know where it's going to be able to be presented, or just that's the main project, to just keep on going. Otherwise, I'm actually working on small embroidery paper like this here. These are small pieces of paper that are really, really, really fragile. So it's kind of really symbolic right now. So everything is a bit um, not under control. So I'm just working on this really, really big piece here, and working on small one. So it's just to remember a bit of like we're stuck inside, but we're all in this together. So it's a bit of a reminder that you have to keep on going. So the big piece is really a big motivation for me these days. I do it while I'm chatting with my friends, so it's really nice.
We need to go to the end of the chat. So we're gonna go to a round of rapid fire questions. And this is all super interesting, by the way. So I really recommend you people to go check out Veronique's Instagram and website. But I'm gonna go to this, rapid fire questions for the moment. So, what's your go-to snack?
Ramen.
Cool. Books versus Netflix.
Books. I'm not
Okay.
even on Netflix, actually, I gotta say.
um, what's your favorite season?
That's the hardest one. I would have to say spring, because of the flowers and everything pops out.
Okay. What is something people don't know about you?
I don't know, it's hard. I love to make puzzle on Saturday night.
And last but not least, what's one vice you wish you could give up?
Um, I wish to be less hard on myself,
Hmm.
to be more easy to let go, just to try more, to be less afraid. And
Right.
not especially because of my art, but just in general. I started to do it more in the last few days. Actually, being an artist is one of the reaction of this. So I wish that I could just do it more often, and especially with loved ones, just to try to be more vulnerable and be more open to them. Just be more open in general.
Right. Right. Yes, especially in these times, I guess. And where can people find more about your work?
There's actually my website. I try to make it more to upload it and to refresh it a little bit these days, but I have some technical difficulties. But still, you can have a pretty good idea of my work. Otherwise, you have my Instagram account. I'm actually these days releasing some small artwork that can be sent by postal service, like these kind of little artwork here that are
Cool.
so it's under a little plastic sleeve to protect it, but still you can see that there is gouache, ink, and embroidery by hand uh, on this paper that is made from fabric scraps from a local designer in Montreal. So I'm doing a little sell on my Instagram account to try to keep the good mood, because we're still stuck inside for I think a few days. So to have some good thing to look at when we're home. And yeah, Instagram is a really good platform to keep in touch and to see my work too.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And stay safe and hope we can see each other again sometime soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for receiving me, even though we're really apart. But thanks for chatting. It was a nice time for me in all this creation madness.
I know. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carla. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Follow this project using the hashtag #RemoteArtTalks and make sure to follow our guest artists on Instagram.
Artifier is a Toronto-based platform created to help people discover how art can be fun. Go check out artifier.net or follow us on Instagram at artifiernet.
For artist followers of Remote Art Talks, Partial Gallery is offering a discount on pro artist plans. Partial is a curated online directory of noteworthy independent artists. Go to partial.gallery, create a free profile, and use the code REMOTE to get a 10% discount on your pro plan.